The views expressed in this podcast are solely based on personal experience and is not intended to replace professional medical advice. Our opinions should not be taken as therapeutic advice, as this podcast is for entertainment and information purposes only.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Police Condition. I'm Ryan, and sitting across from me and always sitting beside me, my lovely wife, Laura.
Hello.
So, we have an exciting episode today. Laura did a ride-along with me.
Yes, I did.
What did you think?
It was super fun. I enjoyed it.
Good. So, yeah, she's never actually been on a ride-along before. My department's pretty cool with stuff like that. And let her ride around with me. She did a full 12-hour shift with me. What'd you think of that?
It was nice. It was awesome. Your supervisor and your chief allowed me to do that, and watching you in action was pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of action.
Late Sunday night, yeah.
Yeah, Sunday night work wasn't very actionable, but it was still pretty cool. And for me, it was nice because I actually had someone I liked sitting next to me that I could
Aw,
talk to.
That's sweet. You're all right.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
No, it was obviously a different environment. It was fun. Only thing that I've ever gotten close to, job like that is sitting on my couch watching it from, on the TV and in movies.
Why are you so sweaty?
I was watching Cops.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a new experience for you, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, why don't you go through our day?
All right. We woke up and we brushed our teeth and no, just kidding. I don't know, when we got there, the radio was going off already and they had a call in already. Was it up north?
It was a reckless driver coming southbound on the highway, yes.
And yeah, it amazed me because I know you talk on the radio. I know all like the codes and stuff. Like I have no idea what y'all are talking about half the time. It's the different language to me, but it was a lot of like cognitive load, like quickly. And I mean, it was a couple minutes into like hearing the call, you kind of telling me what was going on, and then like getting to the highway and like getting all that information of like the person, the suspect, or whoever was the reckless driver. I had missed so much details of it, and it was cool to see you like focused and just like ready to go. And I was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we weren't even, I wasn't even clocked in yet. We were driving into work when the call came out, and where the car was on the highway, I said, oh, we got time. We can go get all our stuff. And by the time we're ready to go, we should be able to hopefully catch it. Unfortunately, we didn't get to find it, but
Well, you found it. They
yeah, it's
drove
just the traffic on
fast
the
or-
highway
yeah.
is just ridiculous, and there was no way I could get. And then of course, people don't want to get out of your way when you're trying to catch something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't know, just put a little perspective for me, like how much information is said and transferred from like even just other officers in different departments and the radio and everything else going on in your car. It's just so much information, like just the little details that I totally would have missed and
yeah,
you didn't. So it was pretty cool.
right, yeah, because we had dispatch going off, and then one of the county deputies was talking to me, and
Yeah.
we were trying to figure out where this person was. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Good.
Yeah. Then your, just the regular traffic stops. They were interesting because I know we talked about this before, but just how so the first one was I don't know, you gave him a warning,
Right.
but like you turn the lights on, we flip around, my adrenaline peaks immediately. I'm like, this is the first time I've ever done this. So I'm like, oh my God, like anything could happen. Like we're on CSI, like what's going on? Like my brain always goes like that association of like what I see on TV. And then like you pull him over, you get out of the car. I could feel my heart just out of my chest because I'm like, this guy has a gun. Like that's where my mind went, and I'm like, okay, this is not TV, Laura. Like just shut up. Like, and I was okay. Like once I came to reality, like it's gonna be okay. And yeah, I just think it was interesting that the next person you pulled over, it was just a little bit less of the adrenaline for me, and then the third person, it was like almost nothing. But it was cool just to see you like that, because I mean, I see the husband you and never see, the professional cop you.
Right.
And I'm usually the one in the car getting the ticket, so it was a different vantage point I liked.
Right. And what we talked about it that night, like I didn't really feel that adrenaline. Like, I mean, I've made so many traffic stops now. Obviously, I'm hyper vigilant. I'm watching everything the driver's doing. If there's a passenger, watching what the passenger's doing. Um, but like that adrenaline rush, I mean, I remember the first traffic stop I ever made. When I was in FTO, yeah, it was very adrenaline filled, and I was probably stumbling all over my words. I don't really even remember, but I know it's probably I'm Miller, but like now, it's second nature. I mean, it's just a normal thing that I do in my day.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't. It's not complacency on my part. I'm not just like, oh, this is just a normal traffic stop, because no traffic stop. Every traffic stop's different. Nothing is normal. You never know what can happen. So that I think that hypervigilance of watching and making sure I'm seeing what's going on and making sure I'm approaching the car safe. I'm watching what the driver's doing. I think that's more taken over that adrenaline, or maybe it's still adrenaline in a different way. I know how to handle it now. Like I don't let it fluster me and get me messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just saying the different perspectives, and like how our brains kind of associate. Like I'm associating it with cops on TV, where they have action every episode because they're not going to show the boring stuff, and
right.
My brain automatically went to that. But I see what you're saying about like, still being hyper vigilant, having that adrenaline, knowing like what the situation, like what it could potentially become. And I feel like I did that in my mind for you. Obviously, like this isn't just like some police officer. I mean, you're my husband. There's a lot more factors into that. But
right,
watching you do it, yeah, I had that. He's got a gun in the car, probably, and more than likely, no, that person doesn't. But I've still put that in the back of my mind of like, okay, but he knows what he's doing, and everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it is. It's a second nature kind of thing. They say it's like riding a bike; you never forget. Like once you've done it, like when I had my break and didn't work for several months, and then I got back into it, I had a little rust. There was some rust there, and kind of trying to remember. They call it 7-step violators. What you do, those are like steps that you do for a traffic stop, and just getting back into it. There's a little bit of rust, but it was still there. It never went away. It was like, okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I don't need to be like the rust was knocked off very quickly.
Yeah, yeah. I also appreciate all the questions you answered for me too, because I know I had a lot.
Yeah, that's okay though. That's kind of why I wanted you to come with me. I wanted you to be able to ask questions and we could talk about it. So
I always wonder though, like, because I'm not in this field, that what's a dumb question? Because I know people are like, "There's no dumb questions."
No dumb questions.
They're dumb questions.
There can be. There can be. Now, if you were a police officer that's gone through a police academy and you're coming in, and I'm sure. Actually, I know there are dumb questions that are asked, kind of like, dude, you should know these things. Like, you did go to an academy. Yeah, you don't have the skills quite yet because you haven't done it on the street. But you should know, So there are dumb questions, but I wasn't expecting any of your questions to be dumb because you've never done it before. You've never experienced it. You've never seen it. So
yeah. Well, I appreciate the being patient and just giving me those answers.
Yeah, well, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't I?
Also, another thing I noticed, at home when we go to the store or whatever, like your driving skills scare the shit out of me. Like it scares me every time, and I'm just like on the edge of my seat. I'm like, holy crap! Like when we get in the car, the patrol car, in this kind of environment, like your Tom Cruise skills they're amazing. Like you are like a professional driver, and it's like and it still scared the shit out of me. Like I almost pooped my pants a couple times, but you were very efficient at it. Like you knew what you were doing. It wasn't like super scary. We were just like reckless. But
and do you kind of understand why I drive that way?
Yes,
now
I do now. Yes,
because I'm used to driving a certain way, trying to catch up to people and avoid things and avoid people. And
yeah, still scary at home, but I get it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, sometimes it's a little hairy for me too.
Yeah.
You'll be trying to chase someone down, then all of a sudden they'll pretty much stop short on you. You're like, oh, shit. You're not supposed to stop yet. You're supposed to slow down and then stop.
But that kind of plays into like that cognitive load, because like so many people on the road don't, I mean, they have distractions. Yeah, that's probably what makes them terrible drivers. But some people don't have distractions and they're still terrible drivers. And you had all this stuff going on and you had these like driving skills that you were able to like pay attention to the road. And I don't know. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why you do a driving course and
Yeah.
you learn how to drive that way. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm driving like an a-hole everywhere I go on patrol, but
You do at home though, so that's weird.
you know, no one's gonna call and complain on me to my boss at home.
True, true. Maybe I might now. No, it was a really cool experience. I know it wasn't too busy. You kept saying that, but obviously for me, it was jam packed, full of excitement.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good amount of calls still, and
Yeah,
you got to see the town aspect or the small city aspect, and what I do during my day and watching the
yeah,
city and making sure things aren't going crazy in the city, even if we're not getting a whole lot of calls. So
yeah. I think normally you tell me a lot of your exciting calls. So you took me to it's like I guess I would say burger joint, but I guess you can have like any food there, but like the
just
restaurant
a
in the
restaurant in
square.
Sinclair, yeah.
Yeah. And we were sitting there and he went up to get like a drink from the fountain and this family was sitting at this table and the man started talking to you and I had nothing to do, so I was eavesdropping like crazy and just listening to y'all and he started telling you like, were you working on Father's Day? Was that you? And you were like, yeah. Then he goes to say, did you, escort this car? You're like, yeah. And you're like, oh, that was my grandson. He was in, what was it? Like an
he
allergy
he
thing?
got into some ants and he got bit by a lot of ants,
Mm,
and I guess he was going into anaphylactic shock.
mm.
And
And
like, I didn't realize at the time, like I knew he was bit by ants, and I knew they were trying to find, the medics. So I escorted him to the medics
mm,
area,
yeah,
but I didn't. Like I said, to me, it was just I was just helping this family get where they needed to go.
it was cool though because you never told me the story because you obviously in your eyes you didn't think anything like
Yeah, I didn't think it was anything.
significant happened
Yeah,
there. Yeah, you were just doing your job and this man was telling you the story. Then his wife, I guess was the grandmother of the boy, just starts crying, and everyone else at the table was just like thanking you, and just like you're a hero and all this stuff. And like I'm in the corner, just like trying to hold back tears, like oh this is like a beautiful moment, like oh my god, my husband's a hero, and like you hear it, like like first responders. I think most people hold you guys in that light. I do. Like I know I do. You put your life on the line for other people, and that is like definition of hero. And you tell me these stories. You got your aggravations. Just kind of like venting those out and things that I feel like are heroic. I would tell you that like I just hearing it from somebody else and watching just the human emotion from like complete strangers about like what you did. It took me back. It was really awesome to witness that.
yeah, it made me super kind of confused
You were a
and
little awkward.
threw me back because I was like, "What are you guys like?" I knew what happened. I know what they were
Yeah.
talking about, but I had no clue it was as bad as they were saying. I didn't realize it was such a
Yeah.
like that. This little guy was really bad off. Like I didn't realize that. I thought like, oh, I'm just helping these people. I have my lights on, and they followed me to the medic station where we have our county medics at. Where their ambulance is at.
Yeah.
I didn't, like I said, I didn't think anything of it. So when they were telling me this, and they're like, "Oh my god, thank you so much," and I know. Like we've talked a lot. People come up to you and they'll thank you for your service, or you're eating dinner and people want to come talk to you and stuff. And, I tell you how like it gets kind of
Yeah,
annoying
you don't know what to
sometimes,
say.
and you don't
Or
really know
yeah,
what
you
to
don't to
say.
say, yeah.
And I've always got when people thank me for service, I just say, hey, thank you for the support. But when someone was saying something like you saved our grandson's life, I was just like,
You even said, I don't know what to say to
yeah, I
that.
think I did. I said like I don't know what to say to you guys. Like
Yeah.
I was just doing my job. I was glad I was there. I was happy to help. Like
Mm,
I didn't realize it was so heavy,
yeah.
but it was just one of those things. I'm kind of like, what the hell do I say? Like, and then when the grandmother started crying, it really threw me back.
Mm.
I was like, what do I do now? Like, do I hug her? Do I like, you know what I mean? Like, she
Yeah.
was sitting down, I was standing up. Do I go over there and hug her? It was. I mean, like we talked about later that evening. I don't do the job for praise. I don't do it, for people to be like, hey, maybe when I first started, like I was all like, oh, I want people to know I'm a cop. I want this, that. I want to be praised for it. But I grew out of that, and I'm like, that's not why I do the job. I don't do it for the praise. I do it because I love it,
Mm.
and I do it because I want to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't expect the praise.
Yeah.
I mean, I've probably been called on more because like, oh, he was mean to me, or he was driving fast down the highway. It's like, yeah, I was trying to catch somebody. I'm doing my job,
Yeah.
and people call and complain about that. But
Mm-hmm.
to hear someone actually say, "Hey, you saved our grandson's life," like, thank you so much. It was like just I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do at that instance.
Isn't that interesting though? Like you can take the bullshit, like the people calling y'all pigs and names and like
Yeah,
all the bullshit and knowing like, oh, I'm gonna still be out here protecting you. You can call me whatever, but like when it comes
I
to that,
expect that.
yeah.
I
But I
expect to
mean,
be treated
you
like
get the
shit sometimes.
recognition, and then it's like, what do I do? Like you accept it, you appreciate it. Like I knew that. It's just like you didn't know how to respond to it because a lot of times you don't hear that. There's a lot of police officers that go their whole careers that don't hear that. So I mean, it's nice, it's from your bosses. That's nice, but from like random people. I know this is a smaller city, but that come up to you and like you were that officer that saved my grandson, like that, and then yeah, all that emotions and stuff. Like that was a pretty deep moment. And knowing you, I know that was probably really hard for you to like get through that, and not in like a bad way, just like knowing what to say and like
Super awkward.
how to
It was
take that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was very awkward for me because I was like, I'm just doing my job. Like I don't know what else to say to that. Like,
Yes, I'm a hero.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
welcome.
yeah. You're welcome. Well, I mean, that's like at the end when we were leaving, and the guy, saying goodbye to us after we finished eating, and
I spilled my drink on
yeah, you
him.
dropped your drink. That's funny. That's kind of like me when my dad, I was eating lunch with him and his boss, and I spilled my drink all over his
Oh, that's
boss.
I forgot about that.
But yeah, like, I mean, he thanked us again, and then he's like, anything you need, just let me know. It's like, I don't need anything, man. Like, I'm just doing my job. Like, I appreciate the sentiment, I guess, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, hey, yeah, hey, you want to pay some of my bills? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Just like to accept that gratitude, I guess, from somebody. It's just, it's nice.
yeah, it was different.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, people come up to you and they'll be like, oh, thank you for your service and stuff like that. But this was a
it's more
whole,
personal.
yeah, a whole lot different.
Yeah,
It was neat though. I mean, it was cool. I'm glad you were there to see
I
it
know,
too.
right? I was about
Like,
to say that was good timing.
because if you weren't there, it'd have been even more awkward. 'Cause I know I looked at you a couple times, like, what am I doing?
You come home with that story, be like, yeah, whatever.
Shut up.
Shut up. Quit gloating.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw what was it, 12 cats in the city?
Yeah, we have a feral cat problem.
It was fun. Yeah.
God, that's one of your things.
Yes, I told you I wanted to have a count and thought I'd see more of them. I'm surprised.
Yeah, we're not out as much. It seemed like.
Yeah.
And then you got to see an accident.
Yeah, that's true. Both coats.
Kind of a hit and run with that accident.
Yeah.
A little weird, but
Yeah. That got my adrenaline up too. I feel like.
yeah, but part of it.
Like we got there and like I know the truck was leaving while we got there, then we got the description of the truck and then they were like, that truck just left us, and so we're like, oh crap. So you called someone else or something and they were like, okay, we're gonna go find this truck, and so we're leaving, and right away I'm like, we're detectives, we're getting out there, we're gonna get this truck. Like I'm such a child when it comes to this because I was like so excited about it. And we drove past the next gas station and like you saw it and I was like, oh, okay, good. And then like turning around and getting into the parking lot and you getting out of the car and being just so like authoritative about it and like, what the hell are you doing? Like
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you. That's in like my head. I'm like,
I'm pretty sure that's what I said. So.
they're like,
What the hell are you guys doing? You get in an accident, you drive off.
But I really liked how composed you were. Because, like, in my head, I was playing this in the car. Like, I was like, what would I have done if I was in his seat doing this? My adrenaline was pumping. And, just the rudeness to leave an accident, like, don't do that. I would have been, like, mad at them. I don't think I could have controlled my emotions very well. And I probably would have said some things I probably shouldn't have. So I really appreciated your composure and how you dealt with it.
I wouldn't say I was mad, but it frustrates me
Mm.
that people are that shitty. You know what I mean? And obviously, there's a reason for it. The driver didn't have a driver's license. The truck was everything was screwed up on it. The trailer had no tag. Like, I mean, it was all just.
Yeah, they towed both cars.
It was
at the
yeah.
end.
Both vehicles got towed because no driver had a driver's license or insurance. Like, it was just
Yeah.
cluster. But
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. But that, I mean, like I said, I've probably, where I'm working now, I've written more no driver's license citations and dealt with that more than I ever, ever have.
Mm. Which begs the question of what are they doing about that? Because
Uh,
I mean, it's an issue. Let's solve
It's a
the issue,
horrible issue.
right? Like, let's not just be like political sides on this. Let's just solve the issue because
Yeah.
cause a lot less accidents maybe if people are more informed of how to drive and
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
It's
it's
just
not like these people can't drive either, because most of them I see they can drive okay. Like a couple times they don't know how to drive,
mm,
but most of the time they're all driving fine. It's
mm.
just I don't know, you know, that's a whole political issue we don't want to get
That's insane.
into.
Like
But
even if it was licensed, they could have avoided towing both their car or maybe the one because the one was kind of messed up, but
yeah,
towing the car
well,
and
yeah,
all
the one
that
that got
stuff.
hit
Like
was
yeah,
gonna get towed no matter
yeah,
what, but it got towed more because no driver's license and insurance. But I mean, the whole window was shattered, so.
yeah. But it's cool to see. You were the city um, cop there. Then there was a sheriff. And then state troopers came up. So it was kind of cool to see all three of you kind of working together too.
Yeah, I will say where I'm at, we do have I have a great relationship with our county and our state troopers that work our area. We all have a good working relationship. So
So answer this question.
you're gonna ask me again, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I don't know.
Why is it that all state troopers wear such tight uniforms?
It's gotta look cool. It's
Yeah,
gotta look tough.
it's very tight. Like they're like, "What size are you?" I'm a large. We will get you a small. That's your size. I mean, it's slick on most of them. I'm just saying, it's just very interesting. Hmm. that These are the things that are important to me. That's
very
all I'm
important
saying.
questions. Very
Yes.
important questions.
See, you were very patient answering all these questions, even
Yeah,
the ones you didn't really know about,
that
like
was
that
a
one.
question she asked. That's not a joke. She did ask me that when we were sitting in the car as we were leaving the accident. Why is this uniform so tight? I don't know.
And wrote it on my notepad. I don't know. I'll look up Google later.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What else do we have? That was about it for the night. Wasn't it? Just kind of did a lot of driving. And
Oh, yes, this was just car and the
this was just car at the cemetery.
yeah.
Yeah, that was nothing fun.
Which I want to talk about that one because the perspective
Oh yeah,
situation there. Because like I've had an experience in my personal life way back when going to a cemetery and there was a car and there was a woman sitting in her car and she was crying. So like my mind went right to that. Like okay, this is a cemetery. Obviously, it's just a woman crying. And obviously, you felt more excited about this one than I did because I was expecting that. You were not.
I did. Yeah. Well, I drive. Like I said, I told you the story about what we found in our cemetery before. So I'm like, oh yay, something good. Like a
Mm-hmm.
suspicious vehicle, because not often do you see cars just sitting there at night. Most of the time it's during the day. So you see a car sitting in the cemetery at night. Oh, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. That's exactly what it was. What your thought was exactly what it was. It was a girl sitting there crying because of her mother.
Well, I'm not saying like I was right. I'm just saying like that perspective is like that was the only thing my mind pulled was that memory. So like my
No.
brain's like, oh, this is totally fine. Not where like we pulled the first car over and I was like, he's got a gun in there, like
Right.
because I
Right.
watch cops too much. But and you like you've had experience, you've heard stories of like other things happening in cemeteries or late at night or a car just somewhere, and you were a lot more excited than I was. I feel like that perspective is so different from the pulling over the car speeding in this one. It's just
Right.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like my mind goes to, what are they doing bad?
Yeah.
And your mind is like, oh, they're probably just a sad person.
Mm-hmm. Poor person. But then like pulling the person over, I'm like, well, they're terrible. They're gonna shoot you, and you've kept your composure on that one, so it's different.
True. True. Yeah. Your first thoughts were bad. Mine were.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's something that goes through my mind. Like, what are they going to do when I walk up? But
Yeah, and I feel like your um perspective or how you handled everything is more reasonable, obviously, because you work this job all the time, and mine was a lot more chaotic because I'm pulling from TV shows and movies, and like personal experiences that had nothing to do with the job. So
which
yeah.
isn't something that happens too often. So
What
the
doesn't?
stuff you see on TV.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, like we were talking about, we watched a movie not too long ago, and it was a police movie, and the one officer got in a shooting, and they actually like, oh, we're gonna take your gun and
Yeah.
you're gonna have to do your stuff, and they actually showed him go and talk to a psychologist. I'm like, wow, that was actually really realistic compared to most movies where cops get in a shooting every day and like, oh, it's fine,
They're
just
back at the
go
job.
back to work tomorrow and shoot some more bad guys, just like that stuff. So it was actually pretty neat. I enjoyed. What was the movie called? The Reptile.
The Reptile, yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool movie actually.
Yeah.
Murder mystery.
The Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, it was a good movie. And I had no idea. Like when you said it, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just like anything, or watching like military movies when it's those crappy B movies and they've got an unlimited magazine of ammo. It's like, are they ever going to reload? Like, is that ever going to happen?
I do the same thing. Like there's a forensic psychologist on there or something, and she's talking about like all these assessments they're taking and how long it takes. I'm like, no, that's totally not right. Like, what are you doing? That would never happen. Like,
right.
Turning this off. This is so stupid.
This doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
And it does. And I know when I'm watching like movies and TV and stuff like that, I need to not have that mindset. Like, it's just for entertainment.
It's hard not to,
but it's hard to turn that
like,
off
be
sometimes.
accurate.
Like, yeah,
God.
like if I just shot 30 rounds out of my AR, I need to reload. Like
endless
yeah,
rounds,
endless magazine.
Yeah.
What was that in James Bond, the GoldenEye game? Wasn't there a
there
cheat
was,
code where you have
yeah.
endless ammo?
Did you ever get that?
I think so.
Oh, it wasn't that good. It was not that
Or
good.
did you ever get the golden gun?
Got the golden. Did I get the? I don't remember now.
The one shot, one kill gun? Didn't matter.
Oh yeah. I beat my brother if he's listening. 'Cause I beat him all the time.
I believe it. He's horrible at video games. You hear that, buddy? You're horrible.
There was one level where like you'd go up this ramp thing and like you could stay in the ramp, and up top you couldn't get up to the top. So like you had the perfect position to just kill anybody that came by, and if you got to that position first, you just destroy the other person the whole game.
I remember exactly what you're talking about because it was like a ramp into a room and there was a window that looked out over everything.
Yeah. Then you can like go look at the window in order, but it was like set up to where like if you got there, the other person's screwed.
If you're playing the right mode, you could put mines down at the front of the.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Oh man.
One of the greatest games of all time,
Yeah.
GoldenEye.
Well, I remember playing that level, and if he got there first, I was like, I would just like walk around. Like there's no point in doing this level because he's gonna shoot me every time.
How did you know he was there unless you were screen cheating?
I definitely was screen cheating. Yes. How could you not?
Yeah, it was hard not to in those little 32-inch TVs.
Yeah. Then they do the 4 because they were the
4.
first one with the 4, weren't they?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the N64 had the 4 slots. Yeah.
Advanced technology.
Very much so.
Mm.
That's funny. Talk about video games. We went from the ride along to old school Nintendo 64 games. Remember Star Fox?
Never played that one.
Oh wow, that was a good one.
What was that?
Little fox that flew spaceships. And it was fun.
That sounds exhilarating.
It was awesome. You fight this big space monkey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, back to the ride along.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah, I mean, it was like I said, I really enjoyed having you there because most of the time, especially when it hit that late time at night where I was getting tired, especially because it was the last day of my long weekend, and it was nice having you there to talk to somebody and keep me awake.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I get what you're saying because I was there too. Like it was like this lull in the night, and you're just like, oh my gosh, we still have like 3-4 hours, and it's dark out, so it's kind of like, oh, I just want to kind of go to sleep. And then we're driving down the street, and out of nowhere, you're just like, what if it's like when you see an apparition that the apparition is actually there, but you're just so tired that that's the only way you could see the apparition.
Yeah.
And we went into like a full.
We had probably an hour-long conversation about that, and
we talked about physics and psychological effects and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it was nice because normally I just sit there and be like, because there's no one to talk to. It was nice to have an intellectual conversation.
Was it intellectual?
It was pretty intellectual. I think so. I felt smart.
Went into Bigfoot too, didn't it?
We definitely talked about Bigfoot.
That
and it all started when we drove past the cemetery again and drove through it.
It did, didn't it? Yeah. Gregory. Yeah. He's a guy there.
It's a gravestone.
Yeah.
I saw something weird and I recorded it, and we have not stopped talking about them since. who knows if it was nice or not, but dead gentleman.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. It was like a wind.
Oh, yeah, a little pinwheel
Pinwheel. Yeah.
blowing, and there was no wind, and it was really weird. It was spinning,
And then there was a bunch of wind, and then it stopped.
and it wasn't spinning at
Yeah,
all.
weird.
Yeah, it was just super weird. So, and then
So
at
weird.
one point, it like the whole thing seemed to turn, and
Now it's completely gone, isn't it?
yeah, the storms they got
The
destroyed.
storms, quotes. Yeah.
And I told you about my other weird ghost incident behind our building.
Oh yeah.
I
Would
saw-
you like to enlighten us with that
Yeah,
one?
sure. So I saw a dog running out, and I tried to go talk to it and pet it, but it
Did you
didn't.
talk to it?
It was a dog. You always talk to dogs. I tried to pet it, but it wouldn't come close to me.
Oh.
So I leave, and as I'm driving, I drive down one of our streets, and it's a street that's behind our police station. And bright as day, I see like it looked like a shadow walking across, like someone was walking. So I go, oh, maybe this person's looking for the dog. So I spin around to go, seeing it. It's not like a long distance, so there's no way they would have disappeared on me. But I drive down. There was no one down the alleyway, and when I leave it, turn the corner, there was no one around. So, but it's
What do you think it was?
a ghost.
Like a for real ghost?
I don't know. It was weird though. It was a little creepy, but it was also like 1:32 in the morning, and I was tired.
Yeah.
So who knows? Could just
Maybe we
been-
looked up the history. There's a couple fires in
That's
that
true.
city.
Yeah.
Tore down like 2 blocks and even half the square.
Yeah. So who knows? Like I told you, I always have a weird feeling when I leave our department. There's no one else there at night,
Mm.
and especially when I'm leaving at night and I'm turning all the lights off. It just gives you an eerie feeling. But,
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
It was
you
very
got to
creepy.
experience
Yeah.
it. So
See, that's when I told you, like, I love believing in ghosts. I love that feeling. I love talking about it. I love the excitement it gives me. And there's times where, like, my logic turns on. It's like, well, no, this is that. Actually, there's facts involved here. And I'm like, shut up. I want to have fun. Like, so it was fun to kind of go down that, route with you. I know I brought a lot more of the nerd with me, but I like just thinking about it. Like, it's real and it's cool.
yeah, but that's probably why I drive our cemetery a lot.
I can see that.
It's like I want to see something. I don't, but I do.
What would you do?
I don't know. I try to get my camera on and film it real quick. but
Really?
then we'd be a ghost podcast.
A ghost podcast, yeah. You never leave that cemetery, would you?
I would be hanging out with Zach Bagans. And
Oh,
I'm a
God.
ghost hunter now.
Oh, God. Please don't change your career. Oh, man. No, it was a good time.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it though. Like I said, I really enjoyed you being there. It was nice having someone, like I said, that I enjoy being around riding with me.
Yeah.
And I say that as, having FTOs. If you've ever FTO'd, you've had someone riding in your car for 6 weeks. At the end of it, you're like, get the fuck out of my car.
I don't know. Probably after 6 weeks, you probably feel the same way about me. Yeah.
But like I said, we were in a car for 12 hours. It was like we were driving to Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I was self-conscious a little bit because it was like after a couple hours, it's like, man, I'm pointing out all his idiosyncrasies and telling him all these things that's wrong with him, and he's probably really annoyed.
when
right
we were
now.
driving down
Like-
the road, and I was rubbing my beard, and you're like, "You okay? What's wrong with you?" Nothing. I'm just driving down the road, rubbing my beard, and it's just it's something I do. Like, shut
What
up.
are you thinking about?
Yeah. Is there something going on that you're thinking about right now? Like, holy shit! Get out of my car! Get the fuck out of my.
See, it wouldn't last.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for one night.
Yeah, we're good. But no, like the 12 hours, like it was rough. It
Yeah.
was pretty rough. Yeah.
You see
Next morning, I was pretty tired.
some of my exhaustion.
Oh, man up, all right. No, but yeah, I really, really do. Yeah. Because, like, you sleep, we slept. And I know we got up early because we had a doctor's appointment, but still, like, for me, like, driving in the car for that long, even sitting, not sitting, but you're in the car, like, it is exhausting.
Yeah, even if you're not busy for the day, like just being in
Yeah.
a car that long and trying to be vigilant and watch things
Yeah.
and keep your eyes open the whole time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And I wasn't doing any work. You were doing the work when it happened, and I still was tired.
it wears you out, that's for sure.
And I'm lazy, too, so
It's
that could be a reason. Hmm.
Yeah,
It's a good time.
good though. Like I said, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glad you got to experience it.
Me too.
Hopefully it'll maybe help you with your stuff. But
It really did.
Good.
It did give me some insight in myself and um, just an understanding and appreciation of what y'all do out there, and it was cool to see.
Cool. And you know now when I get home and I'm tired, you're not gonna fuck with me, right?
All the time now. Be like, hey, I've lived that job.
I know what you're going
I
through,
know.
okay? I played paintball once.
Hey, I went 12 hours, all right? I am a certified peace officer.
Yeah. Okay.
See what you did? You should have asked me. I
Nah,
don't
it was
know.
a bad,
Yeah.
bad idea.
Bad idea.
Yeah. So yeah, you also got to meet my chief, which was
Yeah.
pretty cool. And I didn't think you'd get to meet anybody on a Sunday, but
Yeah. He surprised me.
yeah,
Yeah. First of all, first department you were for, you're the sheriff. I mean, it's probably hard really to meet a sheriff, but not really meet any of your chiefs or
no,
anyone up high. And then, even your next one, obviously, that was too fast, I guess. But I have this, I guess, stereotype of what a chief looks like, how they act like, how they present themselves, and um, met him, and it was just kind of a shock to the system, to be honest, because it was
right,
really refreshing to meet somebody that I know you can relate to, definitely. Like, you guys have a lot of common interests, but he was more
very
our
much.
age, very
Yeah.
laid back.
Well, he is our age.
He is our age.
Yeah, I mean, we both joined the Marine Corps around the same time, within the
Okay.
year of each other. So
Yeah, but no, like I've met people, I know the county that were lieutenants and captains. I mean, a little bit higher, that had this presence, this demeanor about them that they were very nice. They no disrespect or anything, but they just held themselves as like almost not human, just like I'm a suit, and it's very nice to meet you. And it was just kind of like
right,
dull conversation, and that's it's pretty typical of any, I guess, even in a company if you're meeting a boss or something. But with him, I just felt like I've known him for a long time, just listening to him talk, and just I felt at ease, and I didn't
right,
feel like, oh, I had to present myself in a certain way to be respectful back. It was just I could be myself, and I thought that was really cool.
right. I mean, like my last department, you did meet the chief at my swearing in.
I don't want to say meet, because that's one of those things. It's just like handshake, whatever. But
Right, but that's what I'm saying is
oh, yes,
new officers coming in.
yeah, true,
It was only three of us. All their
yeah,
families are there, and you didn't even really
yeah,
take your time to say hello to him. Like it was just a basic, oh hi,
yeah,
and then he was off to do whatever he was doing,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And like I know you met a couple lieutenant I worked for at the last department. He was awesome. But,
yeah, great.
you know,
And like I'm saying, with maybe it is the age difference or whatever. To different people, doesn't matter age difference sometimes, but it felt more comfortable with the chief you have now than
right.
yeah,
And when you met my sergeant the other day too, because he was dropping off
yeah,
my
yeah,
new vehicle and everything, and which you met him before, but it was a long time ago.
yeah,
So, but yeah, we're all the same age.
yeah.
It's
Very different vibe here, and it's a good way,
yeah,
a
it's,
good thing.
it's a great vibe.
Yeah,
And like I said, like I've said before, like I feel so comfortable there, and I really enjoy working there, and I really enjoy working for them. And it's awesome. So.
yeah. Of course, I felt super awkward because that's who I am and how I present myself. Very quiet person, especially when I'm meeting somebody, and I think I already had that, you know, demeanor in myself because I was like, oh, it's his chief. I have to like, present myself this way, and I feel like I started that way. Then like I realized how
You realize he talks just like
yeah,
me,
I was
and
like,
kind of acts like
yeah,
me, and yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
was like, oh, I don't have to be this way, but I kind of just carried it through. But let you guys talk. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It was cool. Like I said, I'm glad you got to meet him. That was really neat. So
yeah.
pretty good. Like I said, I think we had a really good experience. So
And I can see why you like it so much there, and how you've really felt at home there, and how you talk so good about it, and
yeah,
you get along with your you know
my
um
supervisors.
yeah, and
Well, and then
it's
even
nice.
even the people in the town. I mean,
Yeah,
everyone there is respectful and nice. And
yeah,
they're all happy, that you're there. And like I said, I'm new to the department. The department put out like a Facebook post a month or so ago about me, and
yeah,
everyone that's seen me like, oh, you're the new officer. It's so good to meet you and stuff. And it's neat. It's cool. You
yeah.
don't get that in these bigger towns. And
Well, like the county, it was so big. Like you couldn't
yeah,
really do a lot of community police work, and now here, like people know you by name, you know them. Like, how does that make you feel though? Because I know at the place that we ate and like that situation with the grandson and all that, and you didn't really know how to respond because it was just, so overwhelming. I feel like sometimes when that happens, but like when people do know your name and they're very friendly, like how does that make you feel as a police officer?
You know, if it would have happened at the county or the bigger city that I work for, it would have scared me a little.
Really? Why?
Because you don't know what these people are thinking and who they are, and when they know you by name, and I mean, when that Facebook post came out, I had a bunch of people trying to friend me and stuff
Mm.
that I've never met before that were from the town, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know about that, but it's like I don't need these people doing my personal life and things like that, and even if they're the nicest people in the world, like I don't want that,
Mm.
but it's just such a different atmosphere there, and it's everyone, it's just that small town, small city feeling, and it's cool. Like I said, I really like it. It's a good feeling, and
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to understand this from like my perspective of like what I do. So like if I knew the gas station attendant, which you introduced me to him, is a really nice guy, really friendly. If I knew him and then he came into my office one day and he wanted to be my client, it'd be a very big conflict of interest. I don't know if I would be able to do that if we already established a relationship before coming in, and then knowing the town, if I might have an ethical obligation to not see this person just because of the relationship we established beforehand. With you, like it's the law, but you have like discretion. So like you pull this guy, going like 80 and a 30. Like does that affect that community relationships with these people?
I mean, it can, you know, but like I said, with like let's say the gas station attendant and stuff, like I talk to him, I'm cool with him. He works nights, so I'll go in there and I'll check the gas station and we'll talk for a little bit. But I think he kind of already knows because he's got a registration out on his vehicle, and I've already told him like, bro, you need to get it taken care of. Like, I'm still a cop. Like, I still got to do my job. I think he understands that. So,
But what if he doesn't get it taken care of? It's like months.
it's already been over a year,
Oh wow.
but I haven't seen him driving on the street. So,
If you did though, would
I
you feel
mean,
comfortable giving him a ticket?
yeah, if I had to, I
Mm.
mean, I've already talked to him about it. He knows he needs to get it done, and I know he's kind of told me his financial situation stuff is an issue, but he said he's working on it. So,
Okay.
but
So it's like basically growing a good rapport with the people of the town, and
right,
when it
right,
gets to that point, you already have that rapport established, so you can.
right, exactly. But I mean, like I said, just because we're friendly, or
Mm.
let's say that the restaurant we go to, they give us a discount, and it's really nice of them, but just because they give us a discount doesn't mean they're allowed to break the law, and we're not going to do anything
True.
about it. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people understand that. I mean, now there are some people that don't understand that, and I've heard horror stories of that,
Yeah.
where oh well, I always treat you guys good when you come in. It's like, okay, but you're still breaking the law. Like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah.
We appreciate the discount, but you don't have to give us the discount. That's you. We don't ask for it.
Yeah.
You do that on your own.
Yeah.
Just because you give me a discount on my meal doesn't mean I'm going to let you get away with illegal stuff. And if that's the case, don't give us discounts anymore if you think that's what it's going to be. So,
Yeah. Do you ever know any officers, or do you ever work with any officers that like expect that discount?
yeah. I've seen it before.
Do they ask for it ever?
I've seen guys ask. I've never
Really?
seen it personally, but I've heard stories of guys asking for it.
Really?
Or and I make it a point. So like this place gives me they give us a really good discount,
Mm.
but I don't go there every day I work.
Mm.
Like I'll eat there, and especially with my long weekend, most of the time I'll just eat there once that weekend.
So you're not taking advantage of
Yeah,
it?
I don't try not to take advantage of the business because it's nice enough for them to do that, but I'm not going to take advantage of them for it. So
Yeah.
I've heard of officers that'll do that. Like there was a Chick-fil-A in one of the cities around here that would give officers free food, and I've heard there's an officer that went there every day to get free food. It's like that's bullshit, man. That's
Yeah.
you don't they don't have to do that for you. They're doing it to be nice, but now you're just taking advantage of people, and that's not what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And you never ask for it because
What are the implications in asking? What do you think?
it just looks bad. To me, it just looks really bad. Like I went to the same restaurant and there was a young girl working there, and she didn't give me a discount. I didn't ask for it, and I just paid for my meal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's not a big deal.
Do you think there's some sort of like leverage if you, the officer, asked for a discount and you kept doing it over and over again, and then this person was in a bind, maybe a legal bind, or
Well, yeah, I mean, it could put you in an uncomfortable position.
Mm.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like, well, you always ask for a discount, I give it to you, so you can let me off of this speeding ticket or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you put yourself in that position for them to say that to you.
What about gifts? You ever receive gifts from people?
I've had people try to give me gifts. I never like. I had a trainee one time, and we were on a traffic stop, and this nice old lady came up. She's like, "Hey, can I give you this gift card?"
Oh.
Like, she just wanted to be nice. She's like, "I just really support you guys, and thank you so much." And I was like, "No, ma'am, I can't take that. I really appreciate it, but that's yours."
Mm.
But it's like we were in the middle of a traffic stop, and she walked between my car and the car that we stopped, just to hand me
Put herself in danger to give
yeah,
you a
just to
gift.
give us a gift. I was like, "I really appreciate it, but please, no,
That's
we don't do it."
sweet.
No, I'll never take gifts. Now,
Yeah.
as you saw, we had a church drop off a bunch of like snacks and stuff
Mm.
for us after the tornado and everything that happened. And like that stuff's different because they drop it off. It's for everybody, but like monetary gifts or gift cards or things like that, no, I'll never take that. So.
Yeah. I had a really I don't know, like I guess boundary, I guess, but I was very adamant of not taking gifts either, like in my field, and then kind of going into it and actually experiencing my clients and like who they were and stuff. And I had one who would, every now and then when I saw him in person, most of it was telehealth. He was really friendly guy. He was just very nice, very, very nice person. And he had given me, like, he brought me coffee one time and he brought me like a gift card. And I talked to my supervisor about it. I was just like, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable about it, but she made a really good point. Like, for her, if it was anything over $50, it was a no. But if they kept doing it over and over again, to maybe bring that into therapy and ask them why. Like, why do you feel like you have to do this? And we kind of did that together with him too. And it was nice because we not only, established like, you don't have to do this for me, but also, why are you doing this? And we got to the root of that in his own life, not just with me and him. But it's interesting, when strangers that you don't have like in your room, like I do, talking to you and knowing personally, that come up to you and just like try to hand you stuff. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I was like when I was in the Marine Corps. Remember, I came home that time.
Yeah. People are throwing money at you.
I mean, like I was sitting at the bar, people were buying me drinks, which probably wasn't the best part or the best thing for me, but people were buying me drinks, and then the plane landed as I'm trying to get off. The stewardess hands me $50. She's like, "Oh, one of the ladies wanted me to give this to you." I'm like, "I can't take this."
Yeah.
Like
we were leaving the airport, and a lady in an SUV rolled down her window, got us over there, thanked you for your service, and handed us $20.
Yeah. So I mean, it paid for our dinner, but I mean, it was just one of the things. Like the lady that gave it the 50, she was in the front of the plane. She gave it to the steward, and she was already gone to the flight attendant. And she was already left. Like to me, that's uncomfortable. Like if you want to buy, like I'm sitting at a bar and you buy me a drink, okay, yeah, sure, that's nice. Like I appreciate that, but $50, like,
yeah.
And then it's nice, and it's really nice to see the support. But that's also like, but I'm also not a charity case, right? Yeah. Like I'm doing this because this is what I want to do with my life. I wanted to be a Marine. I wanted to be a police officer.
This.
Yeah. Like I chose to be in these professions. Like, and I appreciate your support of me, but not a charity case. You don't need to hand me money, right? Like,
God, that would scare the crap out of me. That much attention, I'd go hide in a bathroom somewhere. I cannot take that. That's too much.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, completely appreciate the support. Like, it is so nice to get support and hear support from people, especially in the political climate we are, where there are people that don't like cops and want to say bad things to us. So it is really nice to just hear good things.
Yeah.
For a change, like, I mean, I worked during the protests and the riots in 2020, and I mean, that's all we got were people screaming nothing but bad things in our face and telling us we were pigs and trash. And it's like, we had nothing to do with what happened up north.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, we're bad too, right? Like, because all cops are bad, right?
Yeah.
So it is, like I said, it's just the support is really nice.
It's like the view of like the existential view of like people are good, they're born good, they come from good. Most people you deal with, like, they'll ride along. Everyone, some people were doing things illegal, but they were still good people, and I use that sense very loosely. Good, but they weren't doing bad things.
Right.
They were maybe breaking the law by speeding a little bit or whatever. But they weren't getting the gun that I thought they were going to do and like start shooting. But we have that existential view, I feel like, and in your field, it is a lot of negativity. And when you hear that negativity over and over again, you see it in the news, when you even see it in the job, hear it from your buddies, you engage in that confirmation bias, and that's part of that limbic system, that defense mechanisms that your brain puts a post-it note on what's good, what's bad, and the bad things that are registered are puts you in that fight or flight situation, or that fight or flight mode. And you're so used to that, and your body is so prepared for that, because life or death, right? It's part of the job. And when you hear the positivity coming at you, it kind of makes you think like, oh yeah, people are, they're good, they're okay. Like, the people that call you every day are the people that need your help. People in their like worst day ever. I mean, they're not going to call you on a good day and like chit chat. There is 911. They are in an emergency. There is something going on in their life that is absolutely atrocious, and you have to come there and help them. So I feel like when you have this positivity, it feels good to talk about, and it feels good to like, just kind of sit in it and just enjoy it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the next day, unfortunately, the positivity just goes away so quickly, just because our brains are so in tune with the negativity, because it is a survival function. The negativity is something we deal with every day, and
Right.
to be able to sit in that positivity, I feel like is really healthy.
Yeah, and I also think that's why it kind of threw me off. I didn't really know what to say to him either, because it's like I'm used to the negative part.
Yeah.
Like, oh Jesus, all this positivity throws me
Yeah.
off a bit.
Let's talk about that though, because even in like your personal life, and I'm not just pointing you out, this is me too, and I think a lot of people can't really take compliments very well.
True.
They don't accept them as much as they do accept maybe like a critique or something bad about them. That the compliment just, it's just, oh well there's some like, oh, you're looking thin today or whatever, and you're like, oh well, my hair looks like crap. Like, you're going to point to something negative because you can't take the first thing. It's always something, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Like I guess when they were saying the good things, I'm trying to think like, well, what's negative? What's going to be negative here? Like, what did I not do right? I guess. But
Well, you did kind of throw negativity out there, and I feel like most cops do this, like I said, just because of that aspect of the job. But you were, and I know maybe that's not viewed as a negative thing, but you're like, I'm just doing my job. Like, you're kind of baselining it, not really being negative, but you were baselining it.
True. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, because again, that was also just I didn't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
What do you say?
What do you say in that situation, right? And just like, hey, like I said, happy to help. Just doing my job. I'm glad he's okay. Like,
Yeah.
And then they kept going, and it also kind of threw me off. It's like, okay, I don't know why I have nothing else to say here.
Like, I'm glad your son's doing great, and I'm happy I was there for him. And you said a lot of those things too. I feel like I don't think you realize that, but I think our minds are always going to the extreme too. It's either like, yeah, you're welcome, I'm a hero, to like, don't talk to me, Those are two really inappropriate responses.
Well, I mean, right before that happened, another gentleman came up and thanked me for my service, but he wanted to talk to me about just random crap. And it's kind of like, dude, go away. Like, I'm just trying to eat my dinner, and you're sitting here having a conversation that makes no sense. Like, what are we talking about? Like, why do you think I need to know these things, kind of thing? So yeah, I went from that of the normal aspect. For those, just to explain it, it's one of those like, I didn't do it, or they did it, arrest them. It was one of those kind of conversations where they like want to talk to you and they want to be like joking, and sure, it's okay, but it's one of those things. It's kind of like
they're taking the most stereotypical things of your job and making it a joke.
Yeah, I mean, what did he do when he walked up to us the second time to talk?
Yeah,
to
pulls
his shirt up like to show he had no gun or anything. It's like, what are you doing, dude? Like, cool. Thank you for your support. Now go away, please. Like, that one was just kind of like,
yeah.
Now you're just being almost rude because I'm sitting here trying to eat my dinner and you're bothering me while I'm eating my dinner.
Yeah.
And it wasn't over anything or.
Yeah. And I mean, part of stereotyping things like that, like for him, I feel like that was a way to connect because, the only thing he knew about you, because he didn't know about you, was that you were a cop, and he's going to pull all those things to have a conversation, to be friendly, when in your mind, that's not something to really joke about, because obviously like what you do is dangerous, and it's not really, that's not funny. We will talk about dead people and joke about things that are so atrocious, but that corny stuff is not
the
funny.
corny stuff's just annoying, but did you see that dead body? Yeah.
Make the dark humor, but that's just how it is. But no, I think any any type of field. Like if that person knows like you do that one thing and then they take the most stereotypical, like the only knowledge that is like known to the public to them and they use it in a like, stupid humorous way. It's annoying.
Well,
especially when you're on the job too.
How many times have you heard, "Oh, you guys gonna have to write a book about our family" or stuff like that? Like, because that's all they know, and like, oh,
Are you analyzing me? Are you diagnosing me? Or like, my favorite thing is, what am I thinking? I'm like, I'm not a psychic, but
yeah. So it's funny, like, and that's more because I mean it's your family or my family that does it, and it's funny, but it's also kind of like, all right, cool,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think with this guy, I had a little bit of empathy for him because I wasn't in your shoes because I don't do your job. So I see the frustration on your face. And I've had jobs like that, even this job where I know where you're coming from and how frustrating it is. But like, I was looking at him like, okay, he doesn't really know you. That this is a conversation he's using. And I know our family and our friends, some of our friends do that. And we love them though. And it's, who they are and you have better empathy skills for them because you know where they're coming from and you know how they're meaning it. Like it's from a good place and
it doesn't really bother us with family either because it's your family. Like you said, you love them and you joke with your family and you have fun with your family. Yeah. This guy though, it's like, and then
with family, but you usually you bark back with like the dark humor and then it usually ends the conversation.
That's true. I'll say something off the wall and they're like, let's not talk
this
to him
isn't fun anymore.
What I made talking with my family one time and I made the joke with my grandmother about her because she's very old and like it was her birthday and she blew out her candles and I said something to my cousin like, you think she wished she was dead? And it was a stupid dark humor joke because I don't want my grandmother dead. I love my grandmother, 99, almost 100. She's awesome. We love her to death. But it was just like that was just my dark humor. It was one of those. What is it when the things you're thinking that you shouldn't say, but I still said it. Those certain thoughts that you have. It's like, and it was just a joke, obviously, but.
You were super in tune with her, and that's exactly what was happening.
Oh, my programs.
It's hard. She was what, 97, 98 at the time? She was
probably turning 98 at the time when I said that joke. Yeah.
It's just,
I mean, I don't know how she does it. I think when I'm that old, I'm going to want to
die. She looks tired, and I totally get it. You lived a long life.
She's living it, though. But we are very excited for her 100th. That's going to be awesome. But
you're going to make an even worse joke then, too.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to think of something horrible, and then no one in the family is going to want to talk to me anymore.
See, that's what I love, too. I love hearing you say those remarks to people who don't know these are your cousins, they know your humor, but a lot of times I don't think they expect it because maybe they forget it, and then seeing their reaction to it, that's my bread and butter there. I love that. I love watching that.
It was pretty, because they were like, did she say that? I'm like, no, I was just making a joke.
I love it.
Yeah. But back to the guy that we're talking about, it's like, all right, again, thank you for your support. It's nice that you want to talk, but I'm sitting there and trying to eat my chicken sandwich, shoving it in my face, and he comes up and he's talking to me. I'm like, I'm trying to eat. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Like, and that happens a lot. Like, people, we're eating. Like, we get a break too sometimes. It's okay to not talk to us.
Yeah, and I feel like the community policing, and I don't know much about it, and like how far is too far when like being assertive in that aspect of it. Like obviously when it comes to the law, you're going to be very assertive. That's your job. But like when that happens and it is bothering you, you're still a human being. You're still allowed to like say things. And like if you're feeling uncomfortable or you don't like the situation, you want them to go away, would you feel comfortable being assertive in that situation and be like, hey dude, I really appreciate this. Like I just want to hear, sit and eat my meal and have a good night.
No.
Why not?
Just because if I did that, I'm sure I'd get complained on.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to get complained on just because, like, I was hungry. I'm not bad Santa. I'm on my fucking lunch break, That's not me.
That's more aggression, though. You just, like, slid the line from it as assertiveness.
I guess I'll try to do it more of a tactful way.
So, yeah, what would your approach be if it was
like a lot of times with that or whatever? Like, I'll be like, oh, well, thank you. Okay, well, like, have a good day. I'm going to eat my food or something like that. Just kind of be like, hey, okay, we're good. Like, let me eat, please. Like,
yeah.
And most of the time that works. But this guy didn't seem to understand that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but it was fine. I mean, he finally walked off, so it is what it is. And in the end, did it affect me that bad? Was it that big of a deal? No.
It's just
So
annoying.
it was a little annoying, yeah. But is it that big of a deal that to say something and then by chance they call a complaint and then it gives them maybe that he has this great outlook on police and then now he's like, well, that guy was kind of a dick and maybe
Yeah.
maybe I don't support him as much now or something like that. You
But
know what I mean?
interesting hearing you talk about like having a complaint on you when we're talking about like assertiveness, though.
Yeah.
You feel like assertiveness.
Oh yeah, in a situation like that, I feel
still-
like assertiveness, like, oh, he was just an asshole. He was really rude. Again, talking to my chief, we were talking about things, and he's like, and it's sad that people will call and complain on a cop for the littlest things,
Mhm.
but if something good happens, they don't call and say, hey, he did an amazing job, right?
Yeah.
They'll call right away on the bad things. But I mean, that's also a part of being out in the public like that, being a public servant. Because back to that whole, do they want you to be a robot or do they want to be a human kind of thing? And
Mhm.
when they're out there talking to you, you gotta just kind of dial it back and be a human.
Yeah.
And just But I don't know if it's me. I get it when I'm in uniform, but even today we went to get some lunch and I wasn't in uniform. We were off today. I was off today, and the dude at the restaurant or the place we went to eat just started telling us his life story. It's like,
Mm.
why do people feel the need to tell me their life stories? Like, and that's always been a thing. Remember that one time we were at Best Buy, and this was before I was even a cop, I think.
Yeah, we were in line.
We were just standing in line, and this dude turned around and just starts telling us his life story, basically. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is there something on my face that says, talk to me, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's why I think I have the resting bitch face most of the time, so people are like, oh, I don't want to talk to him. He looks angry.
I think that's a good characteristic to have, though. Not a lot of people look friendly out there. People are pretty stressed and just have that
True.
resting bitch face because they are so stressed and angry at something. And you seem very open and like, presentable enough to be a friendly person. And I think that's a
Right.
good trait to have.
Right. And don't get me wrong, when I say we'll talk to anybody, if you want to email us or talk to us, I will still talk to you. It's not going to bother me. I'm just saying more of the work level, or if
Yeah.
I'm just out with my family and I'm just trying to enjoy my family and someone wants to come up and just start talking to me. Like, I mean, this guy, he asked, like I said, oh, this is my wife. We're eating dinner. It's like, that should have been the key point of, oh, he's eating dinner with his wife. Let me go. But
Well,
no, he wanted to keep talking.
I think a lot of people who listen to this, are in your line of work and they understand like there are a certain type of person out there that like loves authoritative figures, like the firefighter, the police officer, the doctor, then they present themselves in such a way that can seem very annoying to the professional, and to them it's just a way of communication, and it's a way for them to be like feel
Being
that
friendly and
yeah,
talking.
or have validation through a conversation with somebody of authority, and
Right.
have the validation just through a simple conversation.
Well, I don't know if you remember the story I told you about the one time I was working off duty at a wedding, and this kid comes up to me, younger kid. I mean, he was an adult, but he kept talking to me, and he'd leave and he'd come back and talk to me, and he'd leave and he'd come back, and at the end of the night, he's like, "You want to go fishing sometime or something?" Like, it's like he just went
So
wanted to be
cute.
my friend, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, like, I don't know you. Why
Oh.
would we go fishing?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I made some excuse like, oh, I'm not really a big fisherman or anything like
Yeah.
that. Which of course I don't mind fishing, but
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, no. I don't want to say, no, motherfucker, I'm not going to go fishing with you because obviously that would be rude. But it's like, why would you think I would?
And see, I remember you telling me that story, and my clinical brain was like, I wonder if he had a father figure growing up. Like, that makes me really sad.
That's
like,
true. I mean, that's true. And then maybe, and that's something I think and that'd probably be more empathy skills on me to be like, hey,
You gonna go fishing with him?
yeah, maybe I should take him fishing. Like, let's go, buddy. And the whole,
I'll be your daddy now.
it'll be like the scene of Andy Griffith where he's walking with Opie and they have their
Oh my
fishing poles and
God.
he's in his uniform.
Oh my god, it would be that corny too, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do, do,
You would sing it while you're doing
would.
it.
I can't whistle good, but I'd hum it. Do, do.
And he's like, "What are you doing? 'Cause
Shut
he's
up.
too
Don't
young to
ruin
know."
this for me.
Oh, you missed a beautiful opportunity to do all of this. That's great.
Oh, man. I did. I was like, can I call you Opie?
Oh my god, this got weird. A little too much.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I
But-
definitely appreciate the support. And I appreciate people being friendly and not being assholes to me, and
Yeah.
being rude. Can be a little much sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think with the empathy skills, I feel like I'm always trying to train mine just because of the world I live in. But I feel like if you started doing the same thing, it would mess up your job like a
True.
lot.
I find it funny how you're thinking like, oh, I wonder if he didn't have a father figure. And I'm just thinking this dude's fucking annoying. Just the different thoughts processes that we have, just the different lines of work. So you go more clinical on it, like, whoa, what's going on in his life, man? I should sit him down and talk to him. And I'm like, just get the fuck away from me, dude.
Well, like, with that person who like really craves that authoritative attention, like it goes into some sort of like fictitious disorder, fictitious by proxy with somebody, someone else. But it's just like there's something that happened in their upbringing that like they either like was abused by that authoritative figure, which was their parents probably most likely, or like they were neglected in some way, and like my mind just goes right to it. And I'm all of a sudden on this journey, like probably like the guy with the fishing thing. Like I would have been on a journey with him, like that whole night, like wondering about him, seeing him wandering off. I'm like, oh, I wonder, like how many siblings did he have? What was his birth order? Like,
is he okay?
Is he okay?
But but it like to me, it's like okay, he wants to talk, but I'm here to do a job.
Yeah.
I'm here to make sure no one's doing anything stupid at a wedding. There's alcohol, people are getting drunk. Like that's what I'm there for. I'm not.
Yeah.
I can't just sit there and talk to you the whole time. I gotta.
His life story. Yeah.
I gotta kind of pay attention to what I'm doing.
So take that, right? He's asking you want to go fishing one time. Obviously, you're like declining it in the nicest way possible. But do you think you could take that story, still decline it, but like have a friendly connection with him?
Yeah, and I think I did.
You did.
I mean, I don't think I wasn't a jerk or anything. I was like, oh, I was like, I'm not really a big fisherman, but I really do appreciate you asking. Like, that's really nice of you and stuff.
Now, would you continue the conversation by like, oh, do you like fishing, or did you just not want to even go there?
I was kind of done with the conversation. I do believe it was the end of the night too, and then like the wedding was ending, so it kind of helped me out that everybody was kind of shuffling out.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, I'm like, oh, my dad doesn't take me fishing.
What a dick.
Just kidding, Dad. Just kidding. He'll take me fishing if I want.
He doesn't take me fishing either.
No.
They seem to forget about me.
Yeah, you like that stuff
I'm a
too.
woman. I
Yes,
like fishing.
Yes,
But no, I think I appreciate officers like you, especially like off duties. It's a party, or even, well, a lot of off duty guys. Like you're at a fun place, and you got those guys that you can tell that are more laid back. You can approach them, talk to them. They have that more community aspect of things. And then you have the guys that are even women too, who are just hands folded, crossed, just looking out, just strict as hell looking, and like you couldn't even like walk past them without feeling nervous just because of the way that they've presented themselves. And it's like, you are the robot. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, it's okay to be friendly.
It's okay to be yourself, even if you're not that friendly in your everyday life, but like loosen up a bit. Like, I know you're hyper vigilant. This is your job. Anything could happen, especially if you're at a place that's like really busy. I totally understand that. But you don't have to have a stick up your ass.
Right. And like I said, that's who I try to be. I always try to be friendly, and I'll always talk to somebody. I'm not gonna sit there and talk unless it's like the last wedding I worked, and the dude was drunk and he wouldn't leave me alone.
Oh yeah.
But he wasn't that he was trying to talk to me. He was just being a drunk idiot, and it was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And then his mom got mad at him, which was hilarious.
Maybe that's why some of these people, these officers do that, so they could totally avoid these connections with these annoying people.
Well, I think that was my issue there, was because I was kind of just sitting there and I was behind the bar and I wasn't doing anything. I was looking at my phone or something. And I was kind of standoffish.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he's like, "Oh, you don't look like you're having any fun." It's like, shut up, dude.
You weren't slinging cocktails like Tom Cruise in Cocktail?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I'm not drunk, so no, I'm not having the fun you are.
Oh, that's a great level to be on when you're the sober one and everyone's drunk.
Yes. Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah. And you're trying to protect everyone there and make sure everyone's safe. That's always fun.
Right, exactly. It's like, and I get it, you're drunk, so you're not thinking anything about me, what I'm doing, but it's kind of like, hey, again, I'm working.
Yeah.
Back off.
Well, okay, so you're at a place like this, people are drinking, having a good time, and you're in uniform. Does it kind of make you feel like a clown sometimes? Like you're just a person that's like an entertainer to them, basically?
To that guy, yes.
Yeah.
Like, because how drunk he was, and he was just trying to get, I honestly think he was just trying to get like a rise out of me or something, but it's like, I basically ignored him.
Yeah.
But, Yeah, it was with him. Most people know. I mean, I think most people realize that we're there because there's a reason that we're there to
Yeah.
keep everybody safe. So, but or the one lady who's like, "Can you give me ice?" Kind of looked at her. I'm like, "You need to ask one of the bartenders." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't even realize you were police." I pointed at my badge on my shirt, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't even realize. I'm so sorry."
Oh.
I was like, "It's fine, but yeah, like I can't. You got to ask them. I can't do that."
Well, you could have got a tip out of it.
Maybe, yeah, maybe I should have done it.
Just interesting the different types of people and how they respond to people in uniform. I think that's very interesting.
That last wedding, though, I had that lady, I had the drunk guy, I had another guy that wanted to talk to me, and he told me, he's like, "Hey, if anything bad happens, just yell for me, and I'll come and help you." It's kind of like, yeah, thanks, man. Like,
could you imagine?
Yeah.
Like a news article, like cop yelled for civilians' help because he told him he could be there for him.
I don't remember what his name was, but Terry, I need your help.
You said you'd help me.
You said you'd be here for me.
Where'd you go? No.
You lied.
Oh my god, that'd be funny. And sad. Very sad. I feel
yeah.
sad for you.
Like I said, those people like that, like, again, totally appreciate the support, totally appreciate the friendliness, but sometimes you can dial it back.
Oh, yeah. Out of all the years you've worked, and you've worked at different places, like big county to like small city, have you ever come in contact with someone who just hated you and just like told you how they felt about it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Any person you arrest.
Well, okay, other than the people in the job, like just random people like come up to you and you're like, "You're trash."
No, I don't think I've ever had anybody just like come up to me and be rude. I mean, people have been rude, but most of the time it's either they're getting arrested or they're getting a traffic ticket or something like that.
Didn't you ever go to those protests?
Well, the protests, they were, you know what, surprisingly, the protests we worked, even like I don't know if they were Antifa, but like the Antifa type people and the uber liberal anti-government or anti-cop type people, even a lot of them were still nice.
Well, that's good.
And even some of them even thanked us, "Well, thanks for being here and just making sure everything's okay." Like, so that was surprising. You know, it's like we weren't expecting, because we got where we were at. You know, we had to work, you know, protests and stuff, but we got the, I guess, low end of it compared to like what Dallas got or what, you know, up north where they were burning cities down and stuff. Like, we didn't have to deal with any of that, which was nice.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, there's always still a few out there that are, but I realize most of the ones like that, they'll just ignore you, give you dirty looks, but they won't say anything to you.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, at one of the protests, I saw the bassist of a band from our area, like a big band that a lot of people would know. And it was kind of funny because I went to him like, "Hey, you're the bassist of blah, 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 right?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Dude, I love you. I love your guys' band." And his face was kind of like taken back because it was, you know, it was kind of like anti-cop protesting.
Yeah.
Because the whole, you know, the Black Lives Matter and all that stuff and the George Floyd stuff, because that was what it was about. And he's like, oh, he's kind of like he didn't know what to say. Like, I'm here supporting the other side, but then this cop is telling me how much he loves my band and supports us. And I was like, you know, I told him, I've got a couple of I've got your albums and stuff. Like, I love you. I've been listening to you since I was a kid, kind of thing. And it was funny seeing his reaction because
cognitive dissonance.
Yeah,
it's like you can see it happening too, and you're like, I love that.
Yeah, it was kind of, and it kind of cracked me up. It's like, yeah, I may be the opposite side of what you're supporting, but I support your band. I've given your band money.
Yeah, like
I've seen you in concert.
Like, it blew his mind that like there's a cop out there that's not bad. What?
Oh, he likes our music, right? Like, yeah.
I like more of these?
I like punk music. Yeah, like I like pop punk and stuff. And yeah, I know you. That's, but you know, that band, I don't think I've ever heard a political thing out of them. That's probably the most political thing I've ever seen, and it was just his own time. It wasn't the band doing it.
Yeah,
but it was just kind of like, I would be like, "Hey, I met you at a gas station one time too." You know, like, it was a long time when I was in high school. But
are you stalking him?
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Like, just seeing the wheel, you could just see the cogs turning in his brain, kind of like, oh man, I'm supposed to be here supporting the other side, but he's telling me how much he loves us, and you know, he thanked me, but it was just kind of, oh, thanks. But it was just one of those, like, you could tell he was just confused, like really confused.
I've experienced cognitive dissonance. I think I've like been aware of that I was experiencing. It's like such an uncomfortable, awkward feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a confusion, but it's like,
And people notice it, like because
yeah,
it's
you
that
can't hide that.
awkward. It's an
Yeah,
awkward confusion that people can see.
yeah. I try to get that out of some people that I talk to, the personal, family members or like friends, and like I put them in a corner and I see it. I'm like, yes, like I can't do anything with it, but I love watching it. It's great. Am I malicious?
It sounds malicious.
Well, I don't know. Challenging belief systems, and I don't just mean like religion, like any belief system you have, ideology, whatever, and like you challenge it with one little piece of material that's like fact, or like wait, this was like I'm not what you think I am, and I'm evidence for it. And I'm standing here right in front of your face, and it's like it's challenging your belief system like completely, and your brain's like, what do we do with this? No, like what's happening? And it's just fun to see that in their face.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you like to play that devil's advocate.
So.
So.
Oh, I love that. I love it.
You do it to me all the time.
Oh,
so.
I do. God, I'm terrible. My family especially, because like a lot of times they'll be talking about things that like I agree with, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, what if?
Right.
What if you go down this
I've
road?
noticed I've never done that in my life, but I do it a lot more now, and I think it's because I've kind of caught that on from you. I'm like, I like doing this to people now. Like it's funny,
and it's not just like a malicious thing. Like I want to challenge ideas because the things that they're saying that I'm believing in. Like I could sit there all day and just like talk with them and like shake my head with it and be like, yeah. Or I could challenge the fuck out of it because I want to see if that's true in my brain too. Like, is this opinion really as strong as I think it is? So if I play the other side and pretend like these are the facts on my side and like have a little bit of knowledge of that other side, because can't do it without that, but
right.
and challenge it and make, sense of that world to them, and like kind of hear a debate basically with yourself, because it's the same ideas, and then like challenge your own ideas about it. And I think that's amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, and then like exactly doing that, and then it makes you think too.
Yeah.
And never bad to think, and it's never wrong to question things. To me, like you can always question stuff. And doesn't mean you have to do it in a malicious way, but questioning things is good. I mean, something I wanted our children to learn is like it's okay to question things. Do it respectfully.
And I found after doing this for like possibly more than a decade, because I really enjoyed doing it after a while, like I changed my views on a lot of things. And it wasn't like I went from this one extreme view that I had with this person and then like went to the polar opposite of it. Like I gathered ideas and like information from what they're saying and like other things, and like I kind of had like a perspective of both sides. And I feel, I'm not saying it was equal because I'm going to have bias on a lot of things, but it balanced my thoughts out a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it's nice because it's not so extreme, and it's you can think from both sides of things. And I feel like with that like cops are bad attitude, I think that is definitely one of those black and white thinking, like every cop is bad and no one should have to think that way. Like no one.
Yeah, but people do.
They
you
do.
See it all over Facebook and all over social medias and stuff.
Well, I blame all that for that. It doesn't matter if you're liberal or if you're conservative, does not matter. Whatever like media you're watching or listening to, it's going to drag you to that side, and it's going to make you have extreme thoughts. Whether most people aren't aware of it, but it happens.
Right.
And it's sad because it's a lot of black and white thinking.
It's okay to think openly and have open thoughts and open conversations and learn about other things.
And it's okay to accept other things too.
Yeah. People don't want to do that. And it's like you're just closing yourself off, and at that point, it makes it where no one wants to talk to you on either side. Like, if you can't have an open mind to anything, nope, my idea is the right idea, and that's it. What's the point in talking to you? Like, it doesn't matter. It's like even if I'm not trying to change your mind on something, I still don't want to talk to you about it because you're not open to it. You're not open to hearing another side. Even if it won't change your mind, at least listen.
Yeah.
Have an open mind to it,
And the internet's right at your hands. Like, we carry it with us. And I feel like, from my personal experience with, like, you, I'm going to use you because, I'm your wife and we've been through this together. You've argued, or not argued, but, like, talked about the same kind of issues. Like, for a while, I thought every department was the same, and, like, that chain of command was the same. And when you came to this one, it was completely different, and it was laid back, and it was nice, and they let you do your job, and there was a lot of respect there that you didn't see at other places, and that wasn't just you. Like a lot of people at those departments felt the same way you did, because
Yeah.
the chain of command was just so grumpy. Just
Grumpy's a good word.
yeah. But for a while, I had that black and white thinking. I thought every department out there was like that, and until you've experienced changing over and seeing that different dynamic, really got me to change my mind. But that was like such a, drastic change of actually immersing yourself into that world to do that. But same with like these views, like go on the other side, see the other things that are out there. Don't just like listen to the things that you normally listen to, because they're just going to nod yes men to you, have like-minded opinions, and you're just going to keep on keeping on with that thought process, not knowing what's outside that box. Because I didn't know there were other departments out there that were this great.
Yeah. I mean, it all just depends on your chain of command. If they're open or not, and it can totally change your aspect of the job.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, your mindset can be stuck at one point if your whole world is that.
Yeah.
And you don't know there's like anything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Alrighty, everybody. We want to thank everybody for listening. Again, like us on Facebook, like us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Go in, rate us, give us a good like. If you're on our Facebook, interact with us, talk to us. If you need to talk, you want to ask us questions on Facebook, do that. Or if you have something maybe a little bit more personal you want to talk about, you can always email us at thepolicecondition@gmail.com. We're always here to talk. We're always here to help people if we can, Also, happy 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's coming up in a day or two, so hopefully we'll get this out before then. If not, hopefully everybody had a good one. Be safe out there. Everybody working, be safe. Everybody not working, be safe. Everybody have a good time.
Keep all your fingers.
Yeah, no blowing up fingers, no blowing fingers off. So, yeah, again, thank you so much for listening. This is Ryan.
I'm Laura.
And we're 1042.